Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Uh, it's Patrick. Welcome back. Um, if you're new, you know that every Thursday at 1:30 I go live. And you also know that if you're watching this later and you're not watching it live, you can put your comment down below and I will answer it next week. So thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry that I missed last week. To be very honest with you, was in Chicago. I fully intended on doing live. Allergies were so bad, I was sick and I literally slept the entire day away. And I just slept through everything. So, hello. I have a whole big list of questions. But if you have a question, you absolutely should ask it in the chat and I will answer it. I had this question about 3 times. I'm guessing it's because people were doing like, you know, last minute vacations, it's sunscreen removal. So I'm going to tell you 2 different ways, and there's a reason I'm going to tell you 2 different ways. The first reason is I would use stain solution, the Archipelago one, the Laundress one, the Murchison Hume one, any of those are going to work. Now, sometimes when you get like sunscreen on, like let's say your swimsuit, okay, stain solution alone isn't enough to lift it because it's so sort of embedded, because that fabric is so oleophilic. It loves oil, so it loves the oil in your sunscreen. So what you do in that case is you spray it with vinegar and water, blot it, then put on the stain solution and brush it in and let it rest. Let it rest a half hour, 40 minutes, 2 hours, overnight, whatever. Don't let it rest a week, up to 24 hours, and then wash it and it'll come out. The next question, and I love this question because it's something I've never gotten before, and I actually had to give it some thought. I got butter on one of the pages of my Bible. So I was trying really hard to think of the perfect Last Supper reference, and I just couldn't come up with it. Hey, Julia. I said Julia, didn't I? Hey, Julie. I wanted a Last Supper, and I couldn't, and so anyway. But so here is what will work. Put cornstarch. So fold the page up, put cornstarch under it. Like you might even put something there and put cornstarch and then lay the page down. Like, put a paper bag, sprinkle cornstarch, and then sprinkle cornstarch on both sides of the page, if that makes sense. And then let it just sit there and rest and then brush it away. And that should do it pretty good. Vodka and a CPAP. I would make sure I would run it through it, I think. This may have been answered previously. How to get oil-based deck stains out of clothes. Hand towels that are dirty in the middle. I would wash these with oxygen bleach. If the stain is stronger than that, I would use sudsy ammonia. And I would wash it with sudsy ammonia, and that should lift it right out. All right. So then the next one, grease on athletic shirts. This kind of goes back to the sunscreen thing. You want the stain solution to rest on there. Put it on there and let it rest, and then make sure you're using oxygen bleach when you wash it. But let the stain solution sit on the athletic shirts because it needs to penetrate into that fiber, and it will take a little longer. Makeup on towels. Okay, this is another really good question. Normally, stain solution will do it. If it's kind of embedded into the towel, if you didn't get it out and it's gone through 2 or 3 washes and it's even built up, wash them with sudsy ammonia. Sudsy ammonia is great every so often on towels. I wouldn't use it every week, but it's great occasionally. Ink on a duvet cover. I've actually answered this for a friend of mine one time. It's ballpoint. You say it's ballpoint pen, so you could probably use rubbing alcohol. I'll be honest with you. I would use Amodex, Amodex. I would use Amodex on it, and the reason that I would use Amodex is because the duvet cover is white, and I just wouldn't want to deal with like using the rubbing alcohol, watching it run, and keep doing it. Put the Amodex on it, scrub it in, run water through it, and rinse it out. Okay, what is oxygen bleach? This is a really good question. What is oxygen bleach? So, oxygen bleach is sodium percarbonate. Sodium percarbonate. When you mix oxygen bleach with water, the sodium percarbonate creates hydrogen peroxide and washing soda, sodium carbonate or soda ash. Sodium carbonate or soda ash is actually a booster. You can buy it. You can buy washing soda to add as a booster to your laundry detergent or your laundry soap. And then the hydrogen peroxide is the color safe bleach. So when you mix oxygen bleach with water, you get the bleach and you get the washing soda. This person says, I want to wash a vintage, very dirty Pendleton cap. I'm assuming this is like a golfer's cap. That's just my guess because it's Pendleton. She's afraid that the brim is cardboard. If it's an old hat, it could be. If it's a newer hat, it's probably plastic. In this case, because we don't know, I would hand wash it. I would hand wash it with a little bit of soap, and I would put it in and I would wash it, and then I would immediately rinse it, and I would lay it somewhere where it can dry, and lay it on like a cooling rack, like that you would put a cake on so that air can move all the way around it. I don't know if you remember or if you saw, but I did this on my TV show. I actually washed a cap, and it did have a cardboard brim. When it dried, it was totally, totally fine. And that one cap was from the 40s. Do you use white vinegar or apple cider vinegar? And is there a difference? There is a difference. We're going to use white vinegar. First of all, white vinegar is cheaper. Second of all, white vinegar has a different pH. We're just going to use white vinegar. And 99% of the time, unless I specify, when I say vinegar, I mean vinegar and water at a 50-50 ratio. That is my go-to. Can you use vodka on wool and silk? You absolutely can. It is completely safe for wool and silk. Just spray it on. Just spray it on, let it dry. Oh, I missed your answer. To soak the CPAP in a pail of vodka. I would actually run the vodka through it. I wouldn't soak it. I would just pour a little through and run it through the hose and then wipe the ends. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't soak it. It's very antibacterial. It's like using rubbing alcohol, you know? So I would just like run it through it or spray it on it even and wipe it off. But I'm thinking of that tube. But the ends I would just spray and wipe and dry. And that'll do it. You'll take care of it. Okay. Do you adjust the flakes based on the size of the load? Yes. If it's a half a load, use half the amount. If it's a fourth a load, use the fourth the amount. The oxygen bleach, you always use a tablespoon. Julie, you are very, very welcome. The oxygen bleach, you always use a tablespoon, but the soap flakes, you vary. Oh, this was fun. Vanilla bean to bourbon ratio when you're making the vanilla. So here's the thing. Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Do you ever do that? I used about 6 vanilla beans per cup. The more vanilla you put in your bottle, the faster you make the vanilla. Like you could put 6 beans into a quart and it would eventually leach out enough to make the vanilla. But if you put more beans in, it goes faster. The jar that I made was a quart. Actually, I used more than 5 beans per cup. I used 6 per cup, didn't I? Because I had 25 beans in there. There's 25 beans in that jar, and that's 4 cups. So I used 6-ish, 6 1/4, I guess. 6 would do it per cup. But it's not scientific. Just put in the amount. The one thing you do want to make sure is that you are using the bourbon that you will drink. The vodka, I would use a cheaper vodka. The bourbon, you're going to taste the bourbon more. So, use like use like Makers or Woodford or something. How do I wash athletic wear? So the trick to washing athletic wear is you want to use your soap. You don't want to overuse your soap, but you want to use your soap. But you definitely want to use oxygen bleach. You want to rinse the sweat and the oil and all those things out of the fabric. So a tablespoon of oxygen bleach and, the correct amount of soap flakes, let's say a tablespoon for a load. I have a sour smell on towels. Generally, when you have a sour smell on towels, it is because there's too much detergent. The detergent has stayed in the fabric and it has soured. So I would use less detergent, and that will help. To get it out now, wash them with a cup of vinegar and get that detergent out of there, and you should be good to go. And I got WD-40 on my carpet, and I loved this question. I think this is really fun. So WD-40 on the carpet, you want to use something oily to lift the WD-40 up. I would probably use, if it were on carpet and I were going to spot treat it, I would probably use a little bit of stain solution, and then I would lift it up with vinegar. Because stain solution is not the easiest thing to get out of the carpet. It's thick, and you have to keep blotting with a clear towel. So I'd probably blot with a clear towel, a towel with clear water 2 or 3 times, and then I'd spray my vinegar and water on, and then I'd blot again to get it out. And that's how I would do it. So those are the questions that we have. What other questions do we have today? All right. All right, we don't. I'm going to show you something fun. This has something to do with the store. Sometimes I like to show you when fun things come in the store. And I want to show you this because I think it's the perfect thing. Look at this. Isn't this great? It's a disco pumpkin. Disco pumpkin. Isn't that fabulous? It's fabulous, right? Disco pumpkin. Disco pumpkin. So fun. So lots of things are coming in the store right now. So I'll keep posting them as they come, but I just wanted to show you because disco pumpkin. You could decorate your laundry room for Halloween, or I guess anything else. How much sudsy ammonia for towels? About a half a cup. Anything else, that's going to act as your detergent as well. Sudsy ammonia for everything. All right, so that is all I have. I hope you have a great week. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day weekend. If you're watching this later and you have a question, put it in the comments. I'll pick it up next week. Otherwise, I hope you have a great Labor Day. I'll see you next week. Bye.